Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Hey.
Jonathan Voitkos here.
Hey, everybody.
Paris Rose is here.
Hello.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making this little show part of your day. Here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a bunch of predetermined topics. And then in the second part of the show, we're going to do the most important thing. We're going to take your live comments and questions. And how do you get a comment or question on the show? Simple. By using our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. If you've got a thought, comment, question, or observation or theory, and you'd like us to address it as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on the show, we'll address it in the second half of the show. And hey, here's the good news. If you're one of the people, many people who watch this show after it's done its live stream and we're not live at the moment, you can still send in a question. The tip link works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you send in a question when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right. Hey, before we get started, I don't know how I can't mention this. So last night, Ann and I are out camping, but we had to run into town for something. So we stopped off at a Buffalo Wild Wings, grabbed something to eat. And the Major League Baseball home run derby was starting up. And so, as they do, they decided to have a singer come out and sing the national anthem. Oh, some of you guys can already tell. You already know where this is going. And they had this girl come out who I have never heard of. That's fine. But apparently she's a 4-time Grammy-nominated performer. And I can honestly say it was the most painful rendition. It was like, you ever watch The Office and Michael Scott does something so awkward and so uncomfortable, you feel like you got to get up and leave the room. You're like, this is so uncomfortable. That's how I felt. And I felt so bad for this girl because she's a 4-time Grammy-nominated performer, right? 4 Grammy nominations. Clearly, she's got talent, and I don't know if it was the bright lights. I don't know if it was being in front of a baseball stadium full of people. I don't know if it was being like broadcast to the world, and she just got super nervous.
Choked.
But you know what? You know what I hope for her? I hope, like when you're walking with a buddy and they step on some ice and wipe out, you just laugh about it later. Yeah. I really hope she's got some great friends and great family that hopefully, obviously it's going to sting for a day or two, but I hope in the next couple of days she's just able to look back on it and laugh. I hope so because, whoo, oh my God, that was so. Everybody was saying that Fergie has been redeemed. Yeah. Fergie has been redeemed. So there you go. Anyway, guys, we're not here to talk about baseball home run derbies or anything like that. We're here to talk about movie stuff. And we have but one topic to discuss today because it's filled with a lot of little topics. Anyway, Paris, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so the annual San Diego Comic-Con gets kicked off next week. Probably the single most anticipated event at the convention is going to be Saturday's Marvel Hall H panel, where a lot of big announcements are expected to be made. But maybe we don't have to wait. So a supposed leaker has released what they claim to be the full announcements list coming from Marvel, and a number of outlets have already started reporting on it. So, John, do you think there's any validity to these reports?
Okay, so last night, as I mentioned, Ann and I we're out camping out our campsite, and I'm sitting around a campfire. I got my iPad out, and I started getting messages from people saying, John, like pointing me to a bunch of different YouTube videos and some reports saying that, hey, there's this report came out claiming that, here's all the announcements that Marvel's doing at the upcoming San Diego Comic-Con. It ain't from Variety, and it ain't from The Wrap or Deadline or The Hollywood Reporter. But a number of places were carrying them. And I thought, okay, so here's the basic thing. Do I think the report in general is true? No. Do I think there's a bunch in the report that is true? Yes. Because in this report, there are 16 different items that they suggest are going to be announced and talked about and shown at the Marvel panel at San Diego Comic-Con. Important thing to keep in mind, that this Marvel panel is only 1 hour. Now, sometimes you get these Hall H panels and they're an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. This is a 1 hour panel. So let's go through these alleged leaks one by one about what Marvel is going to supposedly be announcing, and we'll give our assessments onto each one as to which ones we think are valid. All right, let's get on to it here. The first thing that these reports say that Marvel is going to be announcing and showing is a Thor 5 announcement. Thor 5 announcement with a title and a logo. Now, of course, Thor Ragnarok, I think is a top 10 greatest comic book film ever made. Thor Love and Thunder, I've heard the phrase overhated. I think Thor Love and Thunder is overhated, but it was definitely a big step down from Thor Ragnarok. And of course, we know Taika Waititi is no longer going to be directing it. They'd be looking for a new director. Chris Hemsworth said he's going to be stepping back from acting, not retiring, but taking a step back because he had a little bit of a health concern, whatever. I'm going to say I buy this one. I actually think this one happens. I think Thor, listen, in the midst of the MCU that is currently without Steve Rogers and without Tony Stark, they need the OGs that they can get, because Scarlett Johansson's also gone. Who plays Hawkeye again? Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
So Jeremy, who knows how much Jeremy Renner is going to be wanting to do after his accident and stuff like that. You need some OG energy still in the MCU. Thor is an important part of that. So I'm going to say 80%. I think 80% chance that we will get a Thor 5 announcement. I just think they need it. So I believe there's an 80% chance that we do actually get this one. All right. The next thing this alleged leak says we're going to get at Marvel's Hall H panel: Blade delayed until 2026.
That I believe.
For sure.
Delayed. Yeah.
Not canceled, supposedly.
Might not even be 2026. It's delayed.
It's just delayed.
Why are we so negative about Blade?
Because
Positive.
they've
It's gonna
done
happen, but
nothing
it's
but give
delayed.
us negative things about Blade. They've gone through 4 different sets of writers, 3 different directors. This movie was announced 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And every other movie that got announced at the same time has been produced, put out in theaters, and out on home video already. They haven't even started shooting this thing. They lost everything. Look, the current release date for Blade is November of 2025. That's the current release date. And we said a couple weeks ago when they announced that they lost another director, we said there is no way, at the time we said there's no way they're going to make the November 2025 release date. No chance. So Blade delayed until 2026. I completely buy that because we all expect that that's what it was going to be. The question though is, are they going to actually announce that? Are they actually going to take time at Hall H to announce a negative thing? Like, Blade getting delayed until 2026 sounds more like something you put out in a press release. Now, the only way I can see them taking time at Hall H at Comic-Con, because remember, it's only 1 hour they've got, the only way I see them taking time out to announce the delay is if they have something else to announce with it.
Yeah.
I.e. a new director. I.e. a start of production date. You know, if they have that to go along with it, I can see Kevin Feige getting up there. And now with Jordan Peele on board to direct, I'm just making that up, by the way. And now with Jordan Peele on board to direct, we are circling August 30th as our start date for Blade to be released in March of 2026 or something like that. So if they have something else concrete to announce with it, I can see them doing it. Otherwise, I don't see them taking time out of
That
Hall
wasn't
H.
what I had in mind. When you said the only way I could see them announcing it is like, thank you everybody for coming to Hall H. Good night. Also, Blade's late.
Blade's go.
Is the cast confirmed though?
Oh yeah, they got the
Okay.
cast.
Yeah.
But I mean, how confirmed are they? This movie was supposed to be in theaters a year and a half ago, which means it was supposed to start production 2.5, 3 years ago. How long is the cast going to stay on board? I don't even know if Mahershala Ali is going to end up being Blade.
It has to be Mahershala Ali.
Doesn't have to be.
It has to be.
Because Mahershala Ali is like in his 50s now. And I mean, look, there's a number. I mean, listen, my first pick is Mahershala Ali. 2-time Academy Award winner Mahershala Ali. 2-time. He is my pick.
Yeah.
But would I get mad if they came out of nowhere and said John David Washington was going to be playing Blade?
Okay.
I wouldn't be mad at that. Who's that freaking stupid good looking guy? Who's in Sonic 2? He plays the guy marrying her sister, and he turns out to be a government agent, and he's got one of those SWAT team shows. I'm forgetting, he's like bald guy, ridiculously ripped and shit. Shamir Moore. Yeah.
Oh gosh, it can't be him.
I could totally see Shamir Moore. Listen, if Sticky Fingers could play Blade, Shamir Moore can play him, and I think he'd be pretty good. Anyway. All right, so that's the Blade delayed thing. Next up, in the claims of what Marvel is going to be announcing in this rumor, is that they're going to announce the director for Avengers Secret Wars. I buy this. But I think, again, I'm not giving credit to the rumor, but I mean, the fact of the matter is I think a lot of people expected going into Comic-Con this year, they've probably had their director for a little while now. They've probably just been holding off on it. Now, who it's going to be, I don't know. There's some whispers that it could be Ryan Coogler, which I would not be mad at all. There were some whispers it could be the return of the Russo brothers, but according to a report from Jeff Schneider, that they wanted to do it, but Kevin Feige said no. There are some whispers I heard that Kenneth Branagh could do it. I would not be mad if we found out Kenneth Branagh. There's even been some whispers that Joss Whedon would return to do it, which I don't believe that one at all.
I don't believe it.
But apparently they're saying we're going to get announced at this Comic-Con, we're going to get a director for Secret Wars. I think we all thought that anyway before these things came out. So I'm going to buy this one. I think this one's going to happen. All right. The next supposed item on this leaked, rumoredly confirmation of what Marvel's going to be talking about at Comic-Con is the Armor Wars logo revealed. Now, obviously, Armor Wars is something they've talked about for a long time. It was originally announced as a Disney Plus series. Later on, they announced that they had changed gears. Right move, by the way, and they were going to make it a feature film. We haven't heard anything coming out about it since. So the thing is, we're going to get Armor Wars official logo and probably a release date. I'm going to give this one I was going to say 35% chance. 35% chance I'll give this one. Because I don't know if they're in a place right now where they're ready to announce that. And I think with the Blade situation, I think maybe Kevin Feige is going to be a little bit more cautious about what they are and are not. Some guys in the live chat, like Clark, is saying 85%. Hope so.
Oh, wow.
Because I actually really like the sounds of Armor Wars. Because especially with the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, with the way they set it up, if that was the setup for it, and I love Don Cheadle, I've been in love with Don Cheadle as a performer ever since Hotel Rwanda. So, I mean, give him his shining spotlight and we're ready to go. But I'm going to say it's probably a 35%. All right. The next one that they say we're going to get is our first trailer for Thunderbolts. Now, we've been saying for a while we think they're going to show a first trailer for Thunderbolts. We know, I don't think they're completely wrapped on it yet, but we know a number of the stars of the film are already done. Like David Harbour finished his the other week. I heard about one or two of the other cast members finished theirs the other week. They got to be getting really close to finishing the entire thing. And remember, they dropped their first trailer for the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie after they had only been shooting the movie for 2 weeks. And they came to Comic-Con 2 weeks after they started shooting and still had a little teaser. So we've all thought this was going to happen. I'm going to go out and give 100%. 100% that we're going to get our first trailer for Thunderbolts. But I'll also tell you this, unless you're going to Comic-Con, don't get too excited because they're going to show this to the audience at Comic-Con. I don't think they're going to drop it online.
Drop it, right?
Yeah, at least not for a while. At least not for a while. So there's that. All right. So I'm going to give 100% to the trailer for Thunderbolts. Next up, that they say is going to be happening at this Marvel Hall H presentation, is the full cast of Fantastic Four on stage.
The full cast.
Now, this, I think, is an absolute no-brainer, depending on how you define full cast. Because they made the announcement of our Fantastic Four, but we have, as of yet, had the opportunity to see all of them together. And wait a minute, and correct me if I'm wrong, did they not already start shooting? I thought I read they might have started shooting the movie already, or they start shooting it in like the week. No, you know what? I think I'm wrong about that. I think they start shooting it the week after Comic-Con. I think that's when they do. At any rate, so this is going to be the first time that they actually get the full cast together and get them on a stage. Now, of course, we're going to get our Galactus up there. We're going to get Pedro. We're going to get the whole squad up there, right? What a lot of people are going to be questioning is whether Doctor Doom. I get a ton of people ask me, when are we going to get the announcement for who's Doctor Doom? To which I reply, who cares? John, you said you think Doctor Doom is one of the greatest comic book villains of all time. Yes, but I'm not 100% sure Doctor Doom's even in the movie. And even if he is, I think it's just going to be a tiny, tiny spot. I think they're going to be focusing on Galactus primarily, Silver Surfer a little bit. And so even if they have Doctor Doom in this movie, I don't think Doctor Doom's going to be playing a very relevant role. So I don't know if they're ready to announce Doom yet. And so we'll see. We'll see. Or maybe they bring out Doom and then we find out he's got a lot more to do in the movie than we thought. But anyway, getting the cast, as far as the basic idea of getting the cast on stage, I gotta say that's 100%, because that's something we all thought was going to happen anyway. What's that?
Why wouldn't you do that? You know?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? Right? And listen, Kevin Feige at Comic-Con's past, he likes to do that.
Yeah.
He's the boss, right? He puts out word, I want you there. Sometimes I've been amazed at who they get to come out on stage at Comic-Con. They literally fly them from London or Paris or New York or what. They literally fly them in so they can come on stage for 15 seconds, and wave hands, and that's it. But Kevin likes it. So yeah, why on earth would they not do it? All right. Next, after the Fantastic Four, this report claims that the other thing Marvel's going to be announcing at their Hall H presentation is the actual X-Men movie announcement with the first lineup of the X-Men. I'm very dubious about this one.
This would be a good one, though.
I'm very, very dubious. I don't know that they're... Number one, I think they just recently started the writing process, so I don't know that they're ready to announce the lineup. And by the way, by lineup, we don't mean cast. Because a lot of people are wondering who's going to be an X-Man when the first X-Men movie comes out, right? Some people think they won't have Wolverine. I think you're crazy if you don't think they're going to put the single most popular by miles X-Man in the world in the lineup. I think Wolverine will be in lineup. But then what about the originals? For those of you who don't know, the actual original lineup of the X-Men was Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman or Bobby, Beast, Hank McCoy, and Angel. That was your original lineup. And of course, Professor X. So a lot of people thought maybe they'll just go right back to the origins of the comics and have the original lineup there. I don't think it'll be the original. It could be the original lineup with Wolverine, but we'll see. Either Wolverine will be in it. Wolverine. But again, I don't know that they're ready to make this announcement. I really don't. And so I'm going to say 40% chance of this one. 40% chance of this one. All right. Next up. They claim that Marvel, at this Hall H panel, says the rumor, will be announcing Doctor Strange 3 with a title and a logo. I gotta lean towards believing this one. Look, obviously, with the end of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, they were clearly opening the door for the next chapter, right? You don't have her show up. You don't have Charlize Theron just saunter onto screen and not have a plan for that, right? And actually, to be honest, I think there's a lot of people, including myself, that have been a little bit surprised that we haven't already gotten a Doctor Strange 3 official announcement with the way Doctor Strange 2 ended. So I think we're going to get, I do believe this one, I got to lean towards this one, that we're going to get a Doctor Strange announcement. We will get the titling, we will get the logo, but I think a lot of people have been assuming that one anyway. So I'll say a thumbs up on this one. I think this one's going to happen. All right. Next one up. I know this is going to make some people excited. This report says that Marvel will be announcing a Midnight Suns movie with a logo and an announcement. I know there have been a lot of people excited about this. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I just don't see them going into, listen, they haven't even gotten Blade the movie out the door yet. So I'm going to go pretty much, a team up of, I don't know, what are you going to put Morbius on it? Well, no, they can't put Morbius on it. I mean, a lot of people want to see Ghost Rider. Again, I just don't think it's going to happen. Again, I'm not saying it's not. I don't have any information that says they're not going to do it. I'm just saying I'm going to guess probably not. And, somebody else just mentioned Spicy in the live chat saying, well, Moon Knight. I don't think the Moon Knight experiment worked out so well. So I don't know if they're going to be looking at going back onto that. So I'm going to say not zero, but I'm going to say doubtful on the Midnight Suns announcement.
And not possible that it would be an animated movie, maybe?
Oh.
No.
Being the first animated?
Well, we'll get to that.
Sorry.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
All
right. Next up, that they say Marvel will be announcing at their Hall H is Black Panther 3. And as a part of that announcement, they'll be announcing that Ryan Coogler is returning. Now, let's start at the end and work our way backwards. If this is true and Ryan Coogler is returning to do Black Panther 3, that takes away what a lot of people were hoping, that it would be Ryan Coogler doing Avengers Secret Wars. So, but again, listen, Black Panther is Ryan Coogler's baby. I could totally see him wanting to go back to that. I'll be honest with you, I am not particularly excited for Black Panther 3. I loved the first Black Panther. I went into Black Panther 2 nervous because they made, I think, the wrong decision to not recast T'Challa after the tragic passing of Chadwick Boseman. Effectively killing off a super important character to the universe that Chadwick Boseman brought to life. I don't see how the way you honor him is by killing off his character and saying, thanks for all your work. We're just going to throw it in the garbage now. I just don't see how that honored Chadwick Boseman. It certainly didn't work for the movie. Because it's really funny. Coming out of Black Panther, I said M'Baku and Shuri were two of my top 5 favorite MCU characters, right? Like, I loved those characters. They were so good and so great. Shuri was not the right choice to make.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not looking forward to it. I'm still so angry. I feel like I'm being petty. Like, I don't even want to watch it just because I'm so anti this choice.
Yeah, it just didn't work. I mean, her character was fantastic the way she was. And I don't want to relitigate the whole thing. But what was Lupita Nyong'o's character's name again? Why am I freezing on Lupita Nyong'o's character's name again? Anyway, so you had her, Nakia.
Yeah.
So you had her, this supreme warrior who literally just had to go to save Shuri, had to go and save her, had to fight her way in, get her out. It's like, okay, we got the new flower. Who should be Wakanda's supreme warrior? I know, the science nerd who's never done anything. What? You literally have the greatest warrior other than M'Baku, who, oh, by the way, they should have given it to M'Baku, but if not him, then Naki is right. Anyway, never made sense that they made Shuri the Black Panther. Does not work at all. And so I'm going to be interested to see if they continue on with her or if they're going to age up T'Challa's son T'Challa, son of T'Challa, and they might raise him up. I don't know. Maybe have him meet a young Storm. I don't know. We'll see what they do.
Oh.
But clearly, Marvel's got a lot of plans for Black Panther and that world, because we've got other spin-off things happening. So I'm gonna say I kind of buy this. All right. Next up, that allegedly Marvel is going to be announcing at their Hall H panel is Young Avengers. Young Avengers. I'm going to channel my 1990s era Vince McMahon and say, no chance in hell. No way. But John, many will say, they've been setting it up. I mean, look at the end of the Marvels. You had Ms. Marvel, who I adore that character, going in and meeting up with Oogie Boogie, the purple dino machine, the supposed Hawkeye heir apparent, Kate Bishop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she goes to recruit Kate Bishop. I'm putting a team together. Oh, I still don't believe they're going to do it. I want to give credit, but I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel. But one of the YouTube channels I was watching, one of the videos I came across, and I feel bad that I'm forgetting the name, but they raised a really good point on this one. Two really good points, actually. Point number one was that I think Marvel has realized they got to be protective of the Avengers name. You can't just start throwing the Avengers label on some bargain aisle B stuff. Like you just can't do that. But the other thing is this, they have no time. Like if you wanted to do a Young Avengers movie, that's great. But this whole thing of 2 to 3 years in between movies and stuff like that, you can't do that when, you know, one of them's, several of them are going to get close to their 30s. So yeah, I just don't buy it.
Young Avengers TV series?
See, that's the other thing I heard some people bring up. Maybe that comes at D23, but it really does look like we heard rumors before and reports before that because we got D23 coming up really soon, was that they were going to use Comic-Con to focus on movie announcements and then D23 to focus on stuff like Ironheart, Wonder Man, maybe a Young Avengers Disney Plus series, maybe that, but I don't think we're getting a Young Avengers movie announced at Comic-Con. Again, I don't have proof that we're not. I can't say for a fact that we're not. I'm just saying as a fan, my guess is they're probably not doing that. All right. Next one up. Oh, now business is picking up. Shang-Chi 2, finally being announced with the logo. Look, I 100% buy this because they have said they're committed to Shang-Chi. We heard Simu Liu recently say, oh, you're going to get news of Shang-Chi a lot sooner than you think. And Destin, who was going to direct Avengers 5 and recently stepped away from it. And part of the reason they said was because he really wants to focus on Shang-Chi 2. I think the only reason we haven't gotten an official Shang-Chi 2 announcement right now is because they were probably just holding on to it for Comic-Con at this point. So 100%. And this will be officially, other than Deadpool and Wolverine, my most anticipated Marvel film coming up. John, you mean except for Avengers? Nope. No, I honestly mean Shang-Chi 2 is my most anticipated Marvel movie, other than Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm more, if you gave me the option to see Shang-Chi 2 tomorrow or to see Avengers 5 tomorrow, I'm going to go watch Shang-Chi 2. That's how much I like Shang-Chi. Don't get me wrong. If I knew it was going to be as good as, if I knew Avengers 5 was going to be as good as Avengers Infinity War, okay, then I go for Avengers 5. But with everything being as unknown as it is right now, that's how much I'm excited about Shang-Chi 2. So, yeah, I 100% think that because I think that was kind of preordained and already in the stars that that's what was going to happen. All right. The next item that this rumor claims that Marvel is going to be announcing at Comic-Con next weekend is a big one. A Scarlet Witch movie. Very specifically, for 2028.
2 years after Blade.
4 years. I mean, they learned their lesson, right? Let's just tell everybody the movie's coming in 8 years, and then when it comes out in 4 years, they'll be pleasantly surprised. No, okay, look, there's so much ground to cover here. I do not believe this at all. Again, believe. I don't know for a fact that it's not true. There is a possibility it could be true. Okay. I know I give that disclaimer a lot, but if I don't give the disclaimer 5,000 times, then I get people coming back at me afterwards saying, John, you were wrong. You said this was going to happen. No, I don't believe this is going to happen. I don't believe it because I don't believe Scarlet Witch is coming back. I know a lot of people, oh, she's definitely coming back. She didn't die. I think Marvel has done a number of things recently to really drive home the fact that she's gone and that she's dead. So I believe that. Now, there's also, I want to throw this in there to counter my own point here. On the other side of the argument is, there's a number of people out there who think the upcoming Disney Plus series, Agatha All Along, is actually about Agatha trying to resurrect Wanda. Because in the trailer, she mentions that Wanda took away her power. If that's the case, then maybe Wanda's the only one who can give it back to her. And in order to do that, they got to resurrect her. And if she's back, well, then she's back and you can have a Scarlet Witch movie. There's a number of things about that theory that I enjoy. I don't mind the idea that Agatha is about only the witch who put the curse on me can lift the curse. And that witch is dead, so I got to resurrect her. I got to say, I don't mind that idea. That sounds pretty cool. But I do not believe Elizabeth Olsen's coming back. I do not believe we're going to get a Wanda movie. Again, if they say that's happening, I'll get excited about it. But I just don't think it's happening. So, and plus, here's the thing. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, if it showed us anything, it showed us this. A full-powered Scarlet Witch is simply too overpowered for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, when she's literally, without breaking a sweat, taking out the Illuminati, without breaking a sweat, taking out the Sorcerer Supreme, and hundreds of the world's most powerful sorcerers, all by herself, without even really breaking a sweat. I just think the character's just too OP for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to be honest with you. So, I don't think we're going to get it, but hey, maybe they'll surprise us. And if they do, I'll get on board with it. All right. That was the Scarlet Witch one. This next one is going to get a lot of people talking. This rumor is saying in their report of what they believe or what they are claiming as fact that Marvel is going to be announcing at their Comic-Con Hall H thing is that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman will be coming on stage and announcing that they are returning for the Avengers films. Now, of course, by the time this panel happens, Deadpool and Wolverine will have been in theater for a couple of days, so their press tour will essentially have come to an end. And listen, would it be the biggest pop of CinemaCon, I keep wanting to say CinemaCon, of Comic-Con, out of all these alleged announcements that are coming, would this one be the singular biggest pop that they get? 100% it would be. First of all, just getting Hugh and Ryan coming out on stage. Huge big pop, announcing, and by the way, guys, because by that point, I guarantee you, there's not going to be a single person in Hall H that hadn't seen Deadpool by that point. Like, these geeks and nerds, are you kidding me? They're going to be with me on Thursday night. They're going to be out there at the theaters Thursday night, if not Friday morning. So they're all going to have seen it, right? So they're going to have seen Deadpool and Wolverine. They're going to be super stoked. They're still going to be riding that high. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman then come on stage and say, oh, and by the way, we're sticking around for Avengers 5 and Avengers 6. That's what this report says is going to happen. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a couple of reasons. Number one, as of right now, Avengers 5 doesn't even have a writer. Michael Waldron, who had picked, I remember they had a writer, I think it was Loveness who was going to be writing it. Then he left, they replaced him with Michael Waldron, and just yesterday they announced that Michael Waldron's no longer on it either. So they don't even have a writer for this movie, yet they're saying that. So I don't buy that. The other reason I don't buy that is because, again, I've said this many times and everybody disagrees, and maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But I honestly think this is it for Hugh Jackman. He already said he was done after Logan. He said he's retired. I think finally being on screen with Ryan Reynolds was the one swan song. I think that's it. I think is the absolute one swan song done. Now, again, I might be right. I might be wrong about that. Because listen, if Hugh and Ryan come on stage at Comic-Con on Saturday and they announce this, guys, just so you know, we're the team is back. We're going to be back for Avengers 5 and 6. Listen, nobody's going to be happier about it than me. I will be partying it up in the streets with everybody else. I just don't think it's going to be happening.
I mean, the only thing that I could see that could get a huge pop on those terms is we don't know how Deadpool ends. What if Deadpool actually ends on a cliffhanger and there's a second part to it, and they come out and they announce the title of the second part? I'm saying that's far-fetched, but that would be amazing.
If they came out and say, we didn't actually just shoot one Deadpool movie.
Right.
We shot two.
Yeah.
And so we're pulling a Kevin Costner.
Yep.
And releasing it next month.
And they're all 3 hours.
And they're all 3 hours long.
I'm saying it's far-fetched, but I'm just saying that'd be a huge pop.
Okay. You know what? You're right. That beats it.
Mm-hmm.
If they came out on stage and said, obviously this, by the way, this is not what was in this report, but I'm just saying to go on what Jonathan's saying. If Hugh and Ryan actually came on stage and say, you know, by the way, when we were shooting, we didn't just shoot one Deadpool movie.
Right.
We shot two. Oh my. Okay. All right. If they did that,
yeah,
my bladder would evacuate. I mean, that would be the coup of the century. If they had managed to, without anybody finding out that they'd actually shot two movies under the guise that they were just shooting one. Okay, that would be something. That's not happening.
No.
There's no way.
They need to pull that off now, though. That'd be great.
If they could pull that off, that would be insane. So this whole thing about Ryan and Hugh coming on stage, announcing that they're going to be back for Avengers, would that be absolutely massive and huge? Absolutely, it would be. I just don't see it. By the way, we're going to talk more about it on tomorrow's show. We're going to save it for tomorrow's show. But a new Deadpool spot just dropped with the best line out of any of the Deadpool trailers so far. When they fall out of the sky and a little kid goes, "That's Wolverine." And Deadpool goes, "That's right. Disney brought him back. They're going to make him keep playing this till he's 90. And I don't know, maybe that's true. Maybe that joke is a foreshadow of an announcement at Comic-Con that they're going to be back. But again, I don't think it's going to happen. But if it does, be super stoked about it. All right. The next one up that this report claims is going to be an item that they announce at the Marvel Hall H panel is, we were just talking about this, an Avengers 5 writer and director. As we mentioned, Destin, the Shang-Chi director, no longer attached to it. As we just mentioned, Michael Waldron, the writer, parted ways. He's no longer writing it. So that means we've got an Avengers 5 coming without a writer and without a director. That's supposed to be coming out in just a couple of years.
That is a rudderless ship.
That is a rudderless ship. Or is it? Or is it? Is this one of those typical Hollywood situations where Michael Waldron was actually off this project a month and a half ago, and they just announced it recently, and they have already replaced him, got a new writer. So, you know what? This is one I do believe. Because you can't do a big Marvel Hall H panel and not let people know what's happening with the next Avengers movie. Right? There's got to be something there. So I don't know that we're going to get a title. I don't know that we're going to get, details, but I think an actual writer and director. And if they're saving the announcement of the writer and director for Comic-Con, I believe they're going to be big names. I mean, I don't think you save this for Comic-Con if it's, blah, 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 generic last name is our writer. That you won't know their name, but if you looked them up on IMDb, you notice they have some good, solid writing credits.
Madam Web team.
That's the Madam Web team.
Coming back for redemption.
Yeah.
Coming,
Hey,
it's redemption time for Madam Web's team. They're going to do it with Avengers. So I got to assume that yes, this is true, and that it's going to be known, recognizable names, because that's what you're saving it for. Now, the other interesting thing, we didn't make it a point here. One of the other interesting things connected to this was that in this report, this alleged report, says there's going to be no mention of Kang. No mention of a recasting of Kang, no mention of the character of Kang. Now, those of you who follow this stuff, you'll remember that Avengers 5 was at one point, a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it was going to be called Avengers Kang Dynasty. And then, listen, even if Jonathan Majors didn't get himself into some trouble, I'm not so sure with the very rocky start to a Kang presence in the MCU where Ant-Man beat him. I don't know that they would have been moving forward with Kang anyway, but it's clear they already announced that Kang Dynasty is no longer the name of Avengers 5. So, and no mention of Kang at all. So they say there's not going to be any mention of Kang. So we'll see. But getting a writer and a director announced, I'll buy that one because they have to. They just simply have to. All right. Now we move into the final announcement that this report claims that Marvel will be bringing up at their Hall H panel. And before Ray decided to jump the gun and spoil the lead, they claim that Marvel will be announcing their first feature animated film, taking inspiration from things like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and maybe some encouragement from their Disney Plus success with X-Men 97, says they're going to do their first animated film. Now, the reason why this is completely believable is it was just a year and a half ago or so that Marvel created the Marvel Animation Studio. They didn't do that just to have some Disney Plus shows. And we talked about this when they first announced. They don't go out and create a dedicated, specific Marvel Animation Studio if it was just to do Disney Plus animated stuff. Some Disney Plus animated stuff, yes, some. But feature films were going to be a part of it. Now, the question becomes, what's that feature film going to be? Something like, as Ray alluded to, Midnight Suns. That could be a good one for an animated thing. Young Avengers might be an option for them. If like maybe the way you do Young Avengers, you do that. Or, and Ray won't want to hear this, maybe this was going to happen with Blade now. Maybe Blade's going to get relegated.
I'll take it.
At this point, I'll take
It
it.
doesn't matter anymore.
At this point, I'll take it. But, I mean, other people in the live chat are saying possibly like Punisher. Maybe Punisher could be, I don't know you do Punisher
You
live
know, a
action.
Scarlet Witch animated film would be cool, I think.
That
Some of the
could,
effects, some of like the terrifying things they could do in an animated film could work for that character. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice.
but do you think they'd actually make their first animated
You're
feature
right,
film
it's their first
a non-family friendly one?
Right.
I'm not saying as they move forward into the future with animation that they can't explore horror and stuff like that. But I got to imagine for their first one out of the gate that they might do something along. You know what I would love to see? Oh, they'll never do it. They'll never do it. They should totally frickin' do Alpha Flight. They should, I mean, again, granted, I'm Canadian, but
That is a new property. That is something that I could see them doing. But like you're saying, it is the first animated film.
yeah, so they're going to want
So-
a big name, recognizable
or maybe an
IP.
introduction. Maybe an introduction to something that they believe in. I mean, Scarlet Witch, we've already been introduced to her. It wouldn't make sense. I would love to see an animated film in the future. But for the first one, the one they might announce at this Comic-Con, if they do, I'm leaning towards Midnight Suns. That's a lot of
That's dark, man. That's
there's
dark.
a lot of
and
characters that are everyone knows in the Midnight Suns, like individually, I think.
So this wouldn't be
I'm
in
not saying
canon then,
everyone.
though.
What's
I'm
that?
saying popular.
So it wouldn't be in canon because they haven't established those characters.
Oh no! This is
It'd be out of
When I say
canon.
Midnight Suns, it's not going to connect to
out of
anything.
canon. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you think it'll be
just a
Marvel
one-off.
animation, but not
Just, hey,
in
we're
the
here.
MCU.
We're here. This is us. You know, this is our new division.
I still think it might be too dark for them to do for the first one. I think they're going to go a little more, because I think I could totally see that as a movie, but I just think their first one would be more family friendly.
Young Avengers. I'm all in on
Yeah,
that.
Young Avengers could
that
be
could
it
work.
too.
I like
Voiced
Young
by
Avengers.
like the actual like performers in live action or something like that.
So yeah, there's all that. So just to recap, the announcements, they're saying, I won't bring these up on screen, but Thor 5, buy it. Blade delayed, automatic. Direct for Secret Wars, they have to.
Automatic.
Armor Wars, what's that?
Automatic.
Well, no, automatic that it's going to be delayed. That's not going to make its November 2025 release date. There's no way this movie's coming out in 1 year and 4 months, when right now they don't have a director. So I just don't see it happening.
It's like, for sure.
Armor Wars, iffy. Trailer for Thunderbolts, 100%. Cast for Fantastic Four, 100%. Logo for X-Men movie in the first lineup, doubtful. Doctor Strange 3 announcement, buy it. Midnight Suns announcement, doubtful. Black Panther 3 announcement, probably. Yeah, high probability. Young Avengers announcement, doubt it. Shang-Chi 2, absolutely. Scarlet Witch announcement, doubt it. Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman on stage announcing that they are returning for the Avengers films, doubt it. Avengers 5 new writer and director announced, absolutely buy that one. And first Marvel animated film announced, I believe it. I believe it. Now, I'm already seeing some people saying, well, wait, they're not going to talk about Ironheart and stuff like that. Remember, it looks like Disney, we talked about this last week. It looks like Marvel is going to talk about movie stuff at Comic-Con, and it looks like they're going to save all the Disney Plus stuff for D23 in the following days that come out. Because I think D23 is just like 1 or 2 weeks after Comic-Con. So that's why there's that. Now, a lot of people saying no Spider-Man 4. Listen, I believe there's going to be a Spider-Man 4 announcement. But that was not a part of this reported leak of what, according to this leak, that's not what they're going to be talking about. I do believe Spider-Man 4 is going to be talked about there. And so Jonathan Schultz saying no Daredevil. Again, that's Disney Plus. That's TV. So that would be at D23. It looks like at Comic-Con, it's just movie stuff. So no Ironheart, no Daredevil, no anything that would be Disney Plus. It looks like that's going to be held on until D23. So the question is for you guys, what do you think? Do you buy this report? Do you think this is a legitimate leak of what Marvel plans to talk about at Comic-Con? Overall, I don't think it is. I do believe there's a number of things on the list that were absolutely going to happen, but they're things that I thought were going to happen before anyway. But maybe you do believe it. Listen, maybe Saturday's going to come and this thing's going to be bang 100% on the money. We'll find out. Was there something not on there that you were kind of hoping to see other than Spider-Man 4? Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're now going to move over to the most important part of our show, which is taking your live comments or questions. I'm sure some of you have some thoughts about these rumored announcements that we're going to be getting at Comic-Con. But before we get to your comments and questions, we're going to take a second here and thank a couple of sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Liquid IV and Gametime. Guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's episode, Liquid IV. You know, the Summer Olympics are here. I cannot wait for basketball, track and field. Hell, they've even got breakdancing in France this year. And with the Summer Olympics in full swing, hydration is key for athletes and fans. Liquid IV is extraordinary hydration for physical endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being. A single stick of Liquid IV delivers better hydration than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. One of the things I love about Liquid IV is how easy it is for me to prepare. All I have to do is tear, pour, and enjoy. In the heat of the summer, whether you're out golfing, out walking, or just sitting on the back patio, you need to stay hydrated, and that's where Liquid IV comes in clutch. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, and it comes in 4 delicious sugar-free flavors: white peach, green grape, raspberry melon, and lemon lime. So turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code CAMPEA Campea at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code Campea at liquidiv.com. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Gametime. My wife Ann and I love going to events, whether they're comedy shows, concerts, an LA Lakers game. I mean, just the other night we went to go see Ronnie Chang and it was awesome. We love having these new experiences and new memories. And our sponsor Gametime makes getting tickets for concerts and events faster and easier, even if you don't buy tickets right away. Because prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer you get to the show start time. With killer last minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying event tickets. I couldn't believe how easy and most importantly, intuitively, the entire app works. Finding the event I was looking for couldn't have been easier. The way it lays out the map of the venue, letting you know exactly where the seats are that you're looking for, and how easy the process was to choose and buy those tickets. So don't worry if you think you're too late to get tickets to that big event you and your friend want to go to. They have last minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever. So guys, take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code Campea for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code Campea, C-A-M-P-E-A, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And thank you to our friends at Liquid IV and Gametime for sponsoring today's episode. All right, guys, with that down, let's get into the most important stuff, which is you guys. Paris, what do we got up first?
Starting with Anonymous.
Anonymous says, SDCC should definitely move. Hotel this year is still a lottery, and I had to pay $900 a night for the ones at the Gaslamp District starting Wednesday of the SDCC week. So I got a room near the border because I can't afford that. Love to Vegas. Love to Vegas would be great.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, we did a big, long thing about this yesterday. The advantages of moving Comic-Con. There's simply no argument against it. There's just not, other than I like San Diego. And I love San Diego too. But data-wise, there's just no legitimate reason not to. You got much bigger convention center, infinitely more hotel rooms, triple less expensive, like 70% less expensive hotel rooms, far more places to eat, way more space, more people can go, better facilities. They just should absolutely do it. And yeah, man, I wish I could say your experience was uncommon, but unfortunately yours is the common experience of people going to Comic-Con. All right, what's next?
All right, Kevin Cayo says, I 100% agree with John's reasoning on why SDCC should move to Vegas. I work for an event and we are from Anaheim to Las Vegas this year, and just hotel room price alone was a big difference, from $200 a night to $85 for our attendees. Hope they move.
100%. So I had somebody actually write in yesterday saying, John, Las Vegas is a bigger city, so it's gonna be more expensive. No, it's not. That's the thing, because Las Vegas, every convention in the world practically goes to Las Vegas. They have this down. There's so much competition there. The prices will be much better. It's a lot easier to do. And I think, I'm glad you shared that, Kevin, because I think that's a good example. Like when you go to, like I remember going to any convention in Las Vegas. I remember Ann and I, when we went to the Star Wars Celebration that was in Anaheim, even though we only live like 35 minutes from Anaheim, we thought it would be fun, since it was a multiple day event, to get a hotel and just stay out there. Screw that. Compared to Vegas hotels, much cheaper to do it. It'll be way better for people. All right, what's next?
Dexter, this is a two-parter. Dexter says, hey, John and crew, I do think Deadpool being great is the first big step towards getting the MCU and its reputation back on track. However, I think there might be just as much riding on Brave New World next year. If this movie doesn't stick the landing, then in the words of Dave Chappelle, oh no, I can't do it how Dave Chappelle does it.
Oh no.
In all seriousness, though, I thought the trailer looked great, so I've got a good feeling about it. Red Hulk was just a cool bonus on top of that. Thanks, guys.
I don't know if Captain America Brave New World is going to be good or not. I simply don't know. The trailer far exceeded my expectations, though. I thought the trailer, was absolutely chef's kiss. It had all the right feel. Everything to it was right. Again, that doesn't mean the movie's going to be good, but they did put together a really good trailer. And I do agree. Knocking it out of the park with Deadpool and Wolverine is great. You need to follow it up with a solid effort with Captain America 4, though. It doesn't need to be the greatest movie. It doesn't need to be a top 5 MCU film. It just needs to be a solid outing. Now, look, if Deadpool and Wolverine is as good as we all hope, you could probably even get by a road bump if Captain America 4 isn't all that good. But I mean, it's really important for them to follow up a win with probably another win.
For me, the biggest thing with Captain America 4 is establishing Anthony Mackie as a worthy successor to Steve Rogers. As in, if they're going to create a new Avengers team, and let's say he's the lead of it, this movie's got to make me believe in this man. You know what I mean? If not, then the whole Avengers movie, what's the point if we're not rooting for the guys, if he is supposed to be the leader of the Avengers, which I believe he can be. He can be that big of a character. You just got to show me why. You show me in this movie why he's important.
See, I think they can get me. Look, again, I'm just one of these. I believe Steve Rogers is Captain America is Steve Rogers is Captain America is Steve Rogers, right? But you can get me on board with Sam, because I think Sam's an awesome character. I can get on board with Sam carrying the mantle. What I cannot get on board with is Sam leading the Avengers. He's literally spent his entire time in the MCU as a sidekick. And look, even just from a military point of view, Rhodey far outranks him and has far more experience, both military experience and that superhero life experience, right? So he far outranks him. Plus, he's not even a superpowered character without the super soldier serum, right? So because of all that, I can't see Sam being the leader of the Avengers, whether he holds the mantle, because it's not the mantle that leads, it's the person that leads. And I can't see him being the leader I think he can be a great addition to a new Avengers team. I just don't think he can be the leader of it, but whatever. That's just kind of my thought on that. All right. What's next?
All right. Say his name and he appears says, a bit of misinformation in Monday's questions. Foundation season 1 did not cost under 90 million. The Irish studio, which shot stuff in Ireland for it, had a budget of 45 million. Actual cost for season 1 was 450 million. Season 2, 430 million.
I don't believe that's true.
That seems very high.
I'm not claiming knowledge of it.
Yeah.
I'm not, because maybe it is true. I'm just saying I don't believe that's
not
true.
widely reported. Everything I've seen is 45, so 4.5 million per episode.
Yeah, I don't.
45 million.
What's that?
Well, the first article that comes up just says at just 45 million.
I don't buy for a second that they spent that much money. I mean, I just don't see it. I mean, it looks much better than a $45 million show, but $500 million, I don't buy that. Again, maybe it's true. But I don't, off the top of my head, I'm going to need I need to see actual statistical information in front of me to buy that. Cause otherwise that seems that doesn't seem right. Anyway. All right. What's next?
All right. Aiden Foley says, I'll call it here. I believe that Giancarlo Esposito is playing the power broker character we kept hearing about in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But best guess I have personally.
I thought Power Broker...
They revealed who Power Broker is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's Peggy's granddaughter.
Yeah, it's Sharon.
Yeah.
She's
Sharon
the Power
Carter.
Broker. So they would have to retcon that. But yeah, it was very definitive. She's the Power Broker. And I hope that she plays a significant role in Armor Wars. I think the end of her... at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier with her, it seems that that's the setup for Armor Wars, and I hope they use her that way. All right, what's next?
All right, this is a two-parter. The True Dark Magician says, hey, John and crew, hope everything's well. After spending a long weekend at my city's local Comic-Con, decided to treat myself to a double feature at my local Cinemark, Inside Out 2 and a mystery movie. At first I was hesitant, and then I saw the R rating, thought there was so many movies it could be, and maybe there's a slim chance it was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, sadly it wasn't. It was Sing Sing, a film about convicts in a person theater group. Very inspiring, and most of the actors were real. Ex-cons.
So probably in a prison theater group.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound appealing to me at all.
Yeah, it's like Coleman Domingo's.
Coleman
baby.
Domingo's in it?
Yeah. I
Really?
think he's the lead. I think this is like his baby too.
Okay, I gotta be honest with you. I do a movie show. I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
So they have clearly not done a good job of spreading awareness of this thing.
And small
But
screenings.
okay, see, here's the thing. This is why I don't go to the mystery movies anymore.
Yeah.
I remember I went to this one, the first mystery movie I went to, it ended up being the greatest beer run of all time. It's like, come on, really?
Yeah.
And then I can't even remember what the one I almost went to the next one, and then I found it was another like straight to nothing movie and nobody cared about. So, like, if you're gonna do these mystery things, you can't have it be like and maybe the movie's good,
Yeah.
but it's got to be movies that when people find out that was the mystery movie, it motivates them to want to go to the next one. Because I just recently they did Fly Me to the Moon as the mystery movie,
Oh, that's a good one.
and it's like, oh, okay, well maybe I'll want to go to the next one, and I couldn't because we've been busy. But now that I hear that this was a mystery movie, guess what? No chance.
Yeah.
No chance I'm going to buy a ticket and go to a mystery
To
movie.
be fair,
anymore.
though, it wasn't AMC. It was his local
Cinemark.
Cinemark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, I'm not saying it had to be Deadpool and Wolverine. Clearly not. I mean, if it was, that's awesome. But it didn't have to be that. But it's something that's got some hype behind it. Like
Yeah.
an Alien Romulus. Trap would
That
be a good one.
perfect movie, but that would probably be screen unseen.
They usually
Screen
only
unseen.
do it like 1 to 2 weeks ahead of time, and right now it's kind of dead. We're in a weird zone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But then to that point, like, then delay it. Do the screen unseen like in like 4 weeks from now, and do something good.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. What's next?
Asmir says, "Hi, not sure if you heard, but there's a Suicide Squad anime airing that's jointly made by WB and Studio Wit, one of the most prolific anime studios in Japan. Tells the story of how Harley and the squad got transported to a fantasy world for a mission."
I saw some ads for it. I didn't know what it was about, but I saw some ads popping up for it. Listen, that one looks pretty good. There's a new Terminator one too that they just dropped a trailer for. I think it's called Terminator Zero. That actually looked pretty good. The only thing standing between him
Is
and
that
you
Netflix?
is
that-
me. That's a Netflix one. Yeah.
I started playing the first episode of the Suicide Squad one, but I was about to go to sleep at the same time, and I realized, oh, it's actual in Japanese. So I decided to pause it and wait until I was awake.
Oh, is it subtitled?
Yeah, to watch it. Yeah, it's subtitled, but
Interesting.
They didn't give you what was it on Netflix?
it's on Max.
Max. So they didn't give you the option for
Dub.
English dub?
I didn't even look for it.
Okay.
It might be on
I
there,
didn't
too.
know it dropped
The
yet.
way
But
that-
yeah, so that looks pretty good. And the Terminator one looks pretty good, to be honest. All right. What's next?
Mike Oxmall says, "R.I.P. Richard Simmons." Yes, Jim
Yeah.
Carrey's In Living Color parody of Simmons was great. Do you think ILC was the best sketch show on average? John, we know you used to breakdance, but have you ever jazzercised? Did you dance to the oldies?
No. No, it did not. The best sketch comedy show ever is SCTV. That's to me, that was the best sketch comedy show ever. I mean, you had John Candy, Martin Short, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas. It was just Joe Flaherty, who just passed away. Actually, that to me was my all-time favorite one. But In Living Color was great. It really was. All right. What's next?
All right. Eddie Burton says, "Curious your thoughts on director's cuts. I see directors like Zack Snyder with Rebel Moon, BVS, etc. state that his director's cuts changes the film entirely. But shouldn't a director be able to do his or her job well without the luxury of an extended cut?"
I mean, here's the thing. First of all, I've never seen a director's cut completely change the movie. I've never seen that happen. Not once. That aside, the notion of a director's cut is that the director has now shot the film. Once the film is shot, then it has to go to the edit. And that's really where the movie's put together. So the director's done their job. It's shot. Now you get into the edit room. Now, a lot of times, 90% of the times, it's for the benefit of the film, but a studio will put in mandates about certain maybe scenes that have to be included or can't be included, or run times, stuff like that. Because, a movie studio doesn't want a 4-hour movie because it's not going to get screenings and the theaters will be mad and all that kind of stuff. So you can sometimes get a situation where the edit of the film wasn't exactly the edit that the Most of the times it is, but sometimes you run into these situations where sometimes the edit isn't exactly the way the director wanted it to be. And so then they put together later as a promotional stunt, the director's cut, where now it's edited in such a way that he wanted it edited and all that kind of stuff. Listen, I'll be honest with you. 9 out of 10 director's cuts to me are irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, what is it? Kingdom of Heaven?
Yeah.
Like that one, that's the one to me. The only one I'll ever say substantially improved the movie. Like, for instance, like the Warner Brothers, the Max version of Justice League was an improvement.
Yeah.
It was an improvement. But it wasn't a night and day improvement.
No, it wasn't like
the
all
way
of a
some
sudden,
people
dude,
try
this
to make it out to
This
be.
was great. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was better.
Yeah, it was better. It was better.
Yeah.
That whole added cyborg scene,
Yeah.
that whole thing about like getting more of his background and understanding his motivations, that to me was the best addition to that. Like that was great.
Because you cared about that character. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like to me, even like the Lord of the Rings 4-hour cuts,
I still prefer the extended, but it's not like it changes the outcome of the movie
it
at all.
doesn't substantively change the movie.
It just
it's still the
lengthens
same
the journey.
movie.
It
Yeah.
lengthens the journey.
So I honestly don't really care. To me, director's cuts are really just gimmicks to get us suckers into paying to see the same movie again, whether it's in theaters or whether it's on home video. It's just a way to sucker us into giving them more money for something that this, like, for example, what was it? Was it Infinity War? Can't remember if it was Infinity War.
Spider-Man, wasn't it?
Was it Spider-Man where it's like, we added 2 extra minutes.
Yeah, like an
Come
elevator
back to the
scene,
theaters again.
An elevator scene and something else. And it was
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah, to me, most of the time, even though sometimes it makes minor improvements, for the most part, to me, director's cuts are nothing more than gimmicks created by these studios to get more of our money. So that's the way I see it at any rate. All right, what's next?
All right. Trash Can HD says, I just went to see Twisters in 4DX, and oh my God, that was the most fun I've had in a theater. The seats rumbling for incoming tornado, getting rained on, smelling freshly cut grass whenever they were on a farm. I'm usually not a 4DX guy. Now I am. Wow.
There you go,
Oh,
Ray.
he sold me.
I don't like the getting rained on part.
You can turn the water
that
off,
one
though.
Made me curious.
Oh, that's right. Ray told me you can actually turn certain elements off. Listen, I'll tell you what. The last I checked, Ray, you might want to check this. Twisters Rotten Tomato ratings. The last I saw, it was at 77%.
81%.
Oh,
It's
nice.
gone up. So I mean, like 77. If you had asked me 3 or 4 months ago,
Ooh,
like
69 reviews.
with 60, oh, perfect.
81%.
69, dudes!
So I mean, I never would have thought it would. I mean, look, because what were we all hoping for Twisters? It's going to be dumb, but as long as it's fun, we get to see tornadoes rip up all that stuff. But I'm hearing from a lot of people, it's actually a pretty solid movie. And so you add all that in and give it a little bit more of an experiential event. I've never been to a 4DX theater. This theater, this
What
Thursday.
you just described it. It's just so funny.
What? How did I describe it? Or just tornadoes ripping things up?
Yeah, it says. I could see that like in an ad playing.
that's actually on the poster. I mean, listen, it's going to be
81%, man.
Yeah.
my
pretty
first
great. That's way
4DX
better.
experience is this Thursday, and me, Ray, and Ann are going to go see it in a 4DX, and I'm looking forward to trying it out.
I'm still saying if I had $5,
You bet I'm going to walk out.
I bet you're gonna walk out. It's a little much. Like, and you'll see at first. You're gonna get this jarring look on your face that my older sister had when we watched Top Gun. She looked at us and she was like, "What is this?" Because she had no idea. She didn't even see.
Oh,
like,
you guys didn't even warn her that
We
this
didn't
was a
tell
different
her.
kind of theater?
So when
Oh
the
my God.
trailer started, she's like,
Earthquake!
"What is this?" And then as water proceeds to squirt all over her bag, and she was going to walk out, and I said, "Oh, we can turn off the water." She had a good time after that.
All right.
But it's jarring to see.
You just have to show me how to turn off the water because I don't want water falling on me. All right, what's next?
Aussie Oi Oi says, a film festival in my city of Melbourne just announced Megalopolis will premiere next month, and I'm pretty keen to see it. Did you know it was supposed to film in Melbourne? There'll also be a separate panel with David Lowery, which I'm very excited about.
I have zero excitement for this movie. I just heard too many bad things about it. But there have been other times that there was a movie that I wasn't excited about and I went in to watch it and I came out thrilled. It's still Francis Ford Coppola, right? So as long as it's Francis Ford Coppola, I don't care if it's a beer commercial. I will give it a shot. And I'm hoping I'm walk out excited. Again, I've heard from some people that I know that have seen it, said it's not going to do well. But I don't know. As long as it's Francis Ford Coppola, I'll be there, give it a shot, and keep my fingers crossed. All right. What's next?
Hooters says, I went to AMC's Seen Unseen Monday evening, hoping it was Alien Romulus, only for it to be A24's Sing Sing.
So it was
Yeah,
also
with Coleman
AMC's.
Domingo. Good movie, but damn it, I really want it to be Alien Romulus.
So then I wonder then if the studios make an overall deal with different theaters. It's not separate deals.
Well, there have been times that I know that the Regal secret screening was different from
Okay.
the one that AMC had that week too.
Oh, okay.
So maybe they do them at the same time. Sometimes,
Yeah.
again, it would be better. And again, I don't mean this as any disrespect on the movie Sing Sing. I haven't seen it. I have not a bad thing to say about it. I'm just saying, if I'm the programmer for my Screen Unseen or secret screenings or whatever, I would rather just not have anything that week
Yeah.
than put out a movie that nobody's talking about, and word gets out of, don't bother going to secret screening, because if you're hoping it's going to be a movie you're really psyched, you got to make sure you pepper those in every once in a while. I just think it was a mistake. Even if the movie's great, because I'm not saying it's not great, even if the movie's great, for an event like this, you've got to pepper in stuff that people are excited about. Doesn't have to be Deadpool, doesn't have to be the new Star Wars movie, but I mean, like an Alien Romulus would have been a nice middle ground, something that a lot of people are kind of stoked about. People recognize the name, but more importantly, something that when people find out that was a secret screening, they're going to think twice about skipping the next one.
I have a feeling what it is there's a green list by the studios
Yeah.
from their marketing
Oh, yeah.
department, and they say you can choose these movies in these time slots, take it or leave it.
That's why I said, if all that was available to you was a movie nobody was
Then just
talking
pass.
about,
Just
then
pass.
just don't do one.
Pass.
Sing Sing really needs the promo, though. I mean, it's a great film. It's just no one's talking about it. I know it's a really low budget passion project, so I know they could use the word of mouth, but I don't know how many people are gonna say, "Oh, I saw Sing Sing, gotta see it." I don't
Right.
think that's gonna happen.
All right, what's next?
All right. Tender Whisper says, am I the only one that thinks the actress portraying Victoria Newman on The Boys is absolutely stunning? Jack Quaid is a lucky son of a gun, and not only is Die Hard a Christmas movie, it is the definitive Christmas movie.
Well, Bruce Willis would say you're wrong. Bruce Willis says definitively it is not a Christmas movie, and he's right. It's not a Christmas movie at all. That aside, I think she's beautiful. The girl plays Newman. Yeah, I think she's beautiful. Jack's a lucky guy, indeed. But more importantly, she plays the hell out of that character. She plays that character so well because she's multi-layered. She's torn. She has divided loyalties. I love that. And she plays to it so well. So yeah, she's fantastic in this role. All right. What's next?
All right. Jim G says, Chicago got hit with multiple tornadoes over the past couple days. Last night was crazy, but man, these promos for Twisters are getting out of hand.
Oh my God. Wait a second. I've never heard of a tornado hitting
I
Chicago.
mean, is
Did that
real?
actually happen?
Let me actually.
I've
that
never
just
actually heard of that
sarcasm?
happening. But it,
Yeah,
look,
I could see that happening.
with all the
Flat
things that
enough.
Game of Thrones did and people showing up,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it did?
Definitely.
I've never, I mean, I've
7
heard
tornadoes observed in Chicago.
Yeah.
7 hours ago.
in Chicago?
They're
Not like I doubt
reporting
it's
on
like the middle of the downtown, but like the suburbs or whatever. I could see it's hitting there.
Look, for all I know, maybe that's a regular thing, and I just never heard of that before.
either.
They call it the Windy City, man.
That's
For a reason.
that's
There's a
actually, you
reason.
know what? That's a very good point. All right, what's next?
All right. Christopher Rosado says, with Twisters coming out, do you have a favorite natural disaster movie? I personally really like Dante's Peak, Day After Tomorrow, Deep Impact, Twister, and Volcano.
I like
Armageddon.
Dante's.
I like Day After Tomorrow. I like that one more than I thought I
Natural
would.
disasters.
Oh, the one with John Cusack,
2012.
2012? Okay, no.
Jonathan loves it.
Is it a terrible movie? Absolutely. is the huge scale giant destruction really fun in it? It is. I still like Armageddon. Armageddon is my guilty pleasure.
Most recent, surprisingly, I like the Greenland movie with Gerard Butler.
Yeah, Greenland's really. Do you know they're doing a sequel?
No, I think but it's been a long time since they've announced that.
Greenland was really good.
There's
Oh, you
another
actually
one?
thought you liked it too?
Yeah, I did.
I just thought it was just such a move, like
It-
love.
the Deadpool co-star Morena Baccarin is in it,
Yeah.
plays his wife. Wasn't J.K. Simmons his dad?
That
I thought J.K. Simmons was his dad. Maybe I'm thinking it was
might
somebody
be
else.
Geostorm. Was that Geostorm? Remember,
Oh.
they both came out at the same
Oh
time.
yeah, it could be.
Anyway,
Yeah.
There was another one that it was.
they didn't come out at the same time.
I mean,
Geostorm was-
it seemed like they did.
Armageddon is still my guilty pleasure one.
San
Yeah.
Andreas. That wasn't good, but it was just very close to home. I'm like, oh gosh, this is gonna happen in LA soon. So, but that was not great.
Oh, that's right, guys. It was her dad. It was her dad. All right. What's next?
Christopher Rosado says, what movie do you think will be the second biggest box office? Deadpool and Wolverine or Despicable Me 4?
Oh, it's not going to be Despicable Me. I mean, Despicable Me is doing really well, but it's not on pace to be $1 billion film. I think the second biggest of the year will be Deadpool. I mean, listen, for a long time, I thought it would be the biggest box office film of the year at 1.1 or $1.2 billion. Because ain't none of us saw Inside Out 2 approaching 1.4. So I don't think Deadpool gets to 1.4. I hope I'm wrong. I'd love it if I'm wrong about that.
The theaters, the studios, everyone would love that.
I mean, it'll be a huge thing, but I think so. Inside Out 2 probably ends up being the biggest film of the year, and then probably Deadpool will be the second biggest film of the
I
year.
wonder, man, what their bonus structure is on that movie for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh my God. Look, Q did not come back for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he and Ryan both, and Sean, all stand to profit very, very handsomely from this movie. Like, very handsomely. All right, what's next?
Matan Valensky says, now that the Euro and Copa America are over, what swear word you have on the MetLife Stadium hosting the 2026 what swear word? You have on the MetLife Stadium hosting the 2026 World Cup finale. I heard that you Americans hate it, and apparently that stadium doesn't have a direct train service from Penn Station.
I don't know. I've never been
I
there.
mean, the thing is
I live 2,000 miles away
Yeah, the
from
thing
that
is,
place.
like-
I have no idea.
the more I've watched European and English people react to things in America, I realize people think we're the size of France or the UK. It's 3,000 miles across. No
is
one
a-
here cares about.
I mean, just to be clear, it's dwarfed compared to the size of Canada.
no one
But
lives
yes,
in the
United
forest.
States is a
No one
very
lives in the
big-
forest. There's
Yeah,
a big
nobody
gap
lives in
between
the forest.
Calgary and Toronto.
Nobody lives in the forest. But yeah, America's a huge country.
Yeah. No,
I-
but my point is, it's not UK or France, right? It's not like you're going from France to Germany in a train. It's 2,000 to 3,000 miles across. Same
Yeah.
with if you went from Vancouver to Toronto. That's massive. People in Vancouver can't tell you where
that's
something is in
days
Toronto.
of travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Days.
So it's just we don't I'm sure Penn Station is great, or maybe it sucks. I don't know. I don't talk to many people in Pennsylvania,
listen,
or in New York.
but it goes with the stereotype because this is a joke that goes around, but it literally happened. It happened to me when I first came to the U.S. When I first came to L.A., I can't tell you the number of times that literally it comes up. Oh, you're from Canada. Yeah. Do you know David Martin's? I don't know. Canada's a big place. You're from Canada. Yeah. Oh, do you know Paul Smighton? Canada's a very, very big place. But seriously, the number of times people would literally ask me straight up, do you know this person? It's I have no idea what we're talking about. Anyway. All right. What's next?
It's just they bring up the only Canadian they know.
Yeah, exactly. You must know him because you're Canadian too.
Gotta know Avril.
It's someone living in Portugal, just randomly knowing someone in Russia. That's how far apart it is.
James Wheeler says, Hello, everyone. I was surprised nobody talked about House of the Dragon yesterday. I love the episode, particularly the interaction between Corlys and his granddaughter.
Oh no, listen. And by the way, James
a
said
20,
a
$20
$20 tip for that. Thank you so
you.
much for that,
Yes.
James. Support us in that level. We couldn't talk about it in an open spoilery way. So, but God, that look, I've always said my favorite things about the Game of Thrones shows is not the big giant dragon action or the big battles, although I love that stuff. That stuff's great. This is what makes a show brilliant. It's the quieter moments. It's the one-on-one conversations. It's the behind closed doors scheming. It's like those things. And the scene between the sea serpent, that's his nickname, right? And
So Corlys.
yeah. And
Sea
his
snake,
granddaughter,
isn't it?
the sea
His
snake,
granddaughter.
and his granddaughter was, I was riveted. I was absolutely riveted the whole time.
When she walks away, she's like, "I'm fire. I'm fire and blood. You're
Yeah.
salt and sea." or
Salt and
whatever.
sea, I'm fire and blood. It's like
Yeah.
that line is
Mic
so
drop.
badass.
Yeah.
Even if like action wise, there wasn't really anything in the episode. This show, it's always adding a domino piece to like the long. They're just building on this thing. They just keep building on something until we get to the end. It's
Well,
like
and Allison too, when she's sitting in that council chamber and she's like, I need to be regent. I'm the experienced one. And then like they're all just overlooking her and that she just gets
That
the
rumble.
noise.
oh, I know.
The
Wow.
noise. I'm like,
The look in
holy-
her face was
Her
like,
facial expressions are amazing.
She's
That
so
whole thing where
good.
she's now zoning out while they're all just still talking around her. I was like, ooh, this was good.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
acting.
The show
Great
is
acting.
so good. This show
I
is
cannot wait
keeps
for the
getting
next
better and
episode.
better and better.
the next episode. Come on.
We got new dragons coming. All right, what's next?
Balto says, I always rewatch your CinemaCon videos to make sure I've seen all the movies you discuss. It's cool knowing the outcome of the films compared to the hype you had.
Yeah.
I miss Rob and Aaron. Are we getting another Deadpool film since this isn't Deadpool 3? Thanks, guys.
It's Deadpool 3.
It's
technically.
Deadpool 3. They can't call it. I was reminded of this. They can't call it Deadpool 3 because it's now under a new studio. So they can't call it that. So that's why. We are going to get a Deadpool 4 at some point, but we're not going to get this movie and then another movie called Deadpool 3. Like that's not going to happen. We'll get a fourth Deadpool movie, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, this is Deadpool 3. And yeah, CinemaCon. Listen, CinemaCon is simply my absolute favorite event of the year. It was about 5 or 6 years ago that it passed Comic-Con for me. I absolutely love it more than any other event we go to every year. If I hold off, and I don't think that I will, but if I hold off my retirement until 2026, the only reason I would do it is just so I could go to the April 2026 CinemaCon. That would be the only reason. So I'm definitely going to go to the one in 2025. So, but yeah, I love CinemaCon. It's so great being able to go to those things and covering it's a lot of fun.
25 should be James Gunn's showcase, right?
It'll be James Gunn will be there on stage, yeah, holding
That should
court
be a
for
pretty
sure.
good one then.
All right, what's next?
Twilight Boy says,
Twilight
Boy.
Okay, hey John and Ray. Deadpool and Wolverine is right around the corner, so I wanted to ask Ray, are big surprises back on the menu?
I haven't heard that in a while. Big surprises.
I just hope we all experience it all together. I believe there's going to be more surprises in this than any comic book movie we've seen or so far. Do you think there's
What did that come? Did that first come up with the Doctor Strange
that
movie?
was
Or
the
was it
No Way
Spider-Man?
Home?
No Way Home. Big surprise.
Because me and you
I
kept
missed
going
that.
me and you kept going back and forth
Yeah.
about whether they're going to show Garfield and Maguire in the trailer. That was the whole
Right.
That was the whole month for me and
That's
you.
right.
It turned out something so small from a little bit turned out to be one of the coolest things I've ever been a part of. And I've won.
You
won.
did. And what
And
did
you
I
ate ketchup
I
and
ate
eggs.
ketchup on eggs.
That's my win forever in
That
life.
was horrible.
I'm getting a little teary-eyed right now.
Thinking
It was a great
about it.
moment. It was a great moment in my career. So, yeah.
And a lot of people say, I can't believe there's some people watching my show that know this. Yes, I am retiring in 2025. Just so you guys know, but there's that. Anyway, all right, what's next?
All right. Am I Right says, I look at theater popcorn buckets as what the physical Blu-rays/DVDs would be in a specific stores. Best Buy, Steelbooks, Walmart,
Yeah.
Blu-ray shirt bundle sets, exclusive Target cover art, etc., etc. Another good way for studios to make money and fans to collect.
Yeah, and by the way, some new images came out of what's going to be Cinemark's version, and a new one came out of a baby pool. It's a baby pool figure, like holding a big red popcorn bucket. Like, it looks like we are going to get a whole bunch of these popcorn buckets. I just know I need that Wolverine one. That's the one I really gotta watch. The one I saw this morning, and I'm not sure of its veracity. I'm not sure it's legitimate, but it was called Her Deadpool Popcorn Bucket. And what it is, it's a
this baby
red
pool.
popcorn bucket. It's a red popcorn bucket with a Deadpool head on it on the side of the bucket. So, like, let's say this is the popcorn bucket. It would have a head on the edge here, but the head was pointed away. So if the head would be facing me here, right? And it's designed in such a way, as the reason it's called Her Deadpool Bucket is if you're a woman and you're holding the popcorn bucket like this, you're getting motorboated by Deadpool. So it looks exactly like something Deadpool would do, but I don't know if I buy that it was real. So we'll see. You're going to see the images flying around today, I'm sure, but I don't know that I buy that it's real.
This baby pool one is so cute.
The baby pool one is cute. The baby pool one is pretty cute. Actually, make sure you get that one to Jonathan so he can pop that on the screen a bit. All right. What's next?
All right. Jake G says, I don't know if you've watched the anime Demon Slayer,
I do not.
but following the finale of this recent season, it was announced the final arc of the series will be in the form of a movie trilogy in theaters worldwide. You should check out the show.
No, I shouldn't.
I definitely will. Though.
Yeah, it's again, I'm not trash talking the show because I've never seen it. I can't say a bad thing about it. I just know it's not for me. So probably not. But do you watch it, Ray?
Cute.
I keep getting messages from one
Look at that baby pool. I love that
that's
popcorn
great.
bucket.
from one particular person who keeps saying watch it. So I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, now that I know it's coming to an end, maybe I need to get on that sooner.
All right, what's next?
David says, hey, John and crew, I saw the worldwide rights to Chris Stuckman's upcoming film were bought by Neon. I'm very excited for him. Also, just want to say that your show helps me get through the day, and thank you for doing that. Shout out to Paris, too, for doing great.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what Chris is able to do. I mean, listen, whenever, somebody who's in, like, I made a couple of movies, but I made them because I wanted them to help what I do on YouTube, right? Like, when I made The Anniversary, I made it, one, because I'm a film fan. You want to make a movie. But I made it specifically because, and I remember talking about this through the vlogs that we used to do, was that if I'm going to talk about movies and movie makers, stuff like that, I want to have a little bit of a better understanding and a better appreciation about what it is they do. Chris, on the other hand, I mean, he's always been very clear. His dream was not to be a film pundit. His dream is to be a filmmaker. And that's what he always was about. He was always about, and everything he's ever done has been about building up to things. He's been very forthright. He says, I don't want to be a YouTuber. What I want to be is a filmmaker. And whenever you get to see anybody in whatever their field is, get to actually pursue that, that's a really cool thing. And I'm really, really happy for him. And I hope it turns out well for him. All right. What's next?
Anonymous says, does a movie ever annoy you? I remember walking out of Rise of Skywalker, Ant-Man 3, pissed off at how bad they were. I felt like the studio stole my money. Also, Moonfall was bad, but do you have good memories around it? Your review of it is funny.
No, I have the only good memory I have of Moonfall is us all going to see it. But nothing about the movie gave me a movie that, the last time I walked out like thoroughly annoyed at how bad a movie was, they both happened to be Michael Fassbender movies.
Oh.
One was The Light Between Oceans, which was horrible, and his Assassin's Creed movie.
Oh, for me, Strangers, the last one. Come on.
I mean, I've seen a lot of movies that I thought were terrible, but and I'm not saying that because those movies I don't think those are the worst two movies I've seen. It's just there's something about them that I walked out just irritated. Like, not only were they bad, I was irritated. Strangers, I wasn't irritated about it. I just thought it was bad.
Oh, you weren't an. Oh, yeah. I was. Those
Lady in the
characters
Water.
are the worst.
Oh, Lady in the Water is like one of the worst. You know, I have the unholy trinity of the three worst studio-produced wide-release films of
someone
all
even said it.
time, being Catwoman, Highlander 2, and the John Travolta Battlefield Earth. Battlefield Earth.
Yeah.
Three worst ever. If I created a fourth spot on that
Lady in the
list,
Water, huh?
it would be Lady in the Water.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Lady in the Water would
And
definitely be
a
on
fifth
that thing.
spot for Madam Web.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not like Madam Web's horrible, but it's not near those ones. Like, that's just how bad those ones
Yeah.
are. All right, what's
Well,
next?
if you got 4, you got your Mount Rushmore. So there you go.
There you go.
Our Lord and Savior says, Ray, the squirrel that you ran over is up here with me. He's doing just fine, running up and down the tree of life. Ease your mind, my son. You are forgiven.
Oh, thank.
Yeah, we almost hit a rabbit again this morning when we were leaving the campground. It's
The
terrible.
problem is it was such a small squirrel.
And such a
It
little
wasn't
bump.
even a full grown. I think it was a baby.
The
man.
problem with squirrels is that because they don't see well, they go off like vibrations.
know.
So they're running, and you're like, "Oh, cool, they're going," and they're like, "No," and they go back.
you know what we
and you're
saw
like,
last
"Oh."
night?
And I swear I slowed down enough, but it still ran into my.
Yeah.
You would have put you into therapy. You know what we saw last night?
No.
We were sitting by. It was there was still a little bit of light out. We were just settling in, getting a
No John
campfire
Campea
started,
news.
right?
He's
And
fucking
like
serious.
where we sit. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can
Oh no! Don't bring
get this
up
for
a
you
full
guys to
video
see.
of this.
It's not a video of it. Relax.
Are you close-ups of the body or whatever?
Yeah,
Close
that's
up
what we're
of
gonna
the
do.
body.
We're gonna get demonetized
but
right now.
I want to show you guys a picture of what it was
Before the massacre.
we were looking at, and it's not here. Why is it not here? Anyway,
like,
I'll
delete it
have to
out?
worry about this later. But
Reveal it. At
you got to understand the view from where we are in that place. Actually, here I'll bring up this. This isn't the one from last night. This is from a couple of weeks ago. So that's the camp spot that we have. We went back to the same camp spot. You see, there's a valley behind it, right? We got a great view. So we're sitting there last night,
Oh boy.
and there's still a little bit of light out. We were just getting the campfire ready, and you hear a little, and we kind of look up, and we see, I don't know what kind it was, but there was some kind of bird of prey
Oh.
with a rabbit in its talon. And I'm like, woo, there goes one of them rabbits. Now we know why there's so many rabbits
Well, I was
around
thinking
here.
when you were saying they were all over playing, I'm like, there's probably hawks just drooling.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I've seen hawks grab like rattlesnakes and fly up and then drop them, so that kills them and then they'll eat it.
Yep, then to go down and,
Oh my gosh.
They dropped the
Wicked.
rattlesnake.
So it
Yeah,
dies
so they die-
on
so
it goes
impact,
flat.
Kicks it,
yeah.
and
kills
then
it,
eats.
and then it eats it. Yeah.
That's kind of cruel. Ooh.
It's actually better than eating it alive. It
Yeah,
just
weird.
instantly
You're,
dies.
could we get in trouble?
The rabbit
All right.
gets pecked on though, right?
Oh
I have
my
no
God.
idea.
Yeah.
Huck
All right,
Flora
what's next?
says, "Hey John, I believe Giancarlo Esposito's role in Captain America 4 is William Stryker. In the trailer, we see Japanese fighters attack the Fifth Fleet surrounding Protect Tiamat. It looks like the U.S. and Japan are fighting over its resources, possibly adamantium.
Adamantium? No, it's not. It's not going to be adamantium, because like wherever Wolverine comes from, he's coming from another reality. So I don't think it's going to be like the MCU already has vibranium, so I think they're going to kind of stick with vibranium. But whether they do or don't, then Wolverine will have a different substance because he comes from another universe. So yeah, I don't think he's William Stryker. Now I don't know how old. What was the guy? I just had his name in my head. The guy from Succession, Brian Cox.
Cox, yeah.
I don't know how old Brian Cox was when he first played Stryker,
Mm.
but I mean, Giancarlo, I don't know. I think if you're going to have a William Stryker, you introduce him in an X-Men movie. I don't think you introduce him here. So I don't know that he's not playing William Stryker. I just don't think it is. But hey, maybe I'll be surprised.
But he's 51.
That's how old Brian Cox is.
He was 51 at the
He was
time.
50 or 51. Okay.
Because he's 78 now, so.
How old is Giancarlo now?
I have it right here. He is 66. So yeah.
Wow. I would have put him in
Whoa.
his like mid to late 50s.
Yeah,
Whew.
he looks great.
All right. What's next?
All right. AL says, in an alternate timeline, what if James Gunn had directed a Deadpool movie? How would it have been?
Oh,
Would have been
good.
awesome. Would have been different, but it would have been awesome.
Different
James Gunn
soundtrack.
working with Ryan Reynolds would be insane. That would be insane. I'm not saying it would have been better than what we got, but I think it would have been very, very different kind of Deadpool, but I still think it would have been awesome. All right. What's next?
All right.
Gelatona at the top.
Gelatona says, currently halfway through the scheduled production schedule of a short film I wrote. It's the most ambitious project I've done yet. It's a romantic dark comedy called
Okay,
Courting.
let's move on. We're not going to use the member questions to advertise our stuff.
Gotcha.
All right, what's next?
Sneaky. Dominic Summer says, are there any horror properties or concepts that you think would be great for a Universal Horror Nights house that they haven't done yet? I think a Smile one would be awesome.
Okay, understanding that I'm not really sure which properties they have access to, so just keep that in mind. Like, I can't remember if Smile is one that would be one they have access to or not. They announced they're doing one this year. Well, I remember that a few years ago they introduced Stranger Things, which is great. By the way, if you ever get a chance to come to LA and go to Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios, do it. It's a lot of fun. They're a blast. And if you can go with Ray Aura, go with Ray Aura because he will provide amazing amounts of entertainment as you start going through. Yeah, I'll protect you
from my car.
as you start running through things. What would be a good one? I mean, they did Nope. They did Us. They did Killer Clowns. They did Texas Chainsaw. They did Stranger Things.
Long Legs.
I don't know that enough people see Long Legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they see. So it has to be something that has some pop cultural relevance that people will want to. So yeah, I can't really. Smile would be a good one, I guess.
Yeah,
but even then, that wasn't a huge hit. Oh no, I got Megan.
Oh, that would be great.
They should do a Megan
Or,
one.
what's
Megan
the
would work,
other
I think.
Killer Abigail.
All right, what's next?
Here we go.
Joel Ketchy says, I know it's way too early, but I sincerely hope Greg Fraser gets an Oscar nom for his cinematography for Dune 2. It seems impossible that 5 other films will have better this year.
I think Dune 2 is winning all the awards. I mean, I as of right now, to me, Dune 2 is still the best film I've seen in 10 years. I mean, that's how good I think it
You're
is.
giving it number 1 in best
Yeah,
film.
I don't think
Wow.
I've seen another film that I think's been better than Dune 2 in 10 years. It's just like so insane. I don't know that it'll win best cinematography, but I can't imagine it not getting nominated. So I'll say that. All right, what's next?
Sir Malmsten says, Director Jon Favreau, in a special dedicated to the 15th anniversary of the first MCU film, said that Robert Downey Jr. also auditioned for Fantastic Four in 2005 and applied for the role of the villain Doctor Doom and did well. Is there anyone more perfect for a role than RDJ as Iron Man?
Well, I mean, it's a tricky one to talk about because, like, for instance, could there have been a better Tony Stark than Robert Downey Jr.? Yes. Robert Downey Jr. is a fabulous actor. But yes, somebody else could have done it. But here's the thing. It then would have been a bit of a different Tony Stark. Because they really did kind of then, once they had Robert Downey Jr. in, they kind of personalized Tony Stark a little bit more to play to Robert Downey Jr.'s strengths. And it's good that they did because it made for this really memorable character. But, you know, we all say, with so many different roles in movies, only this person could have played that, and only that. Well, the only reason we say that is because that's the person that got the role. Little did we know that if somebody else got the role, we'd be saying, oh, no, only that person could have got it. But little did we know that this other guy in an alternate timeline, Robert Downey Jr., almost got the role, and it would have been awesome too. But that all being said, in the conversation of, especially in the realm of comic book movies, about people born to play the role, figuratively speaking, Robert Downey Jr. is definitely on that list. Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool is definitely on that list. I would say, why am I?
Henry Cavill as
I just said,
Superman.
who's that?
For me, Henry Cavill as Superman. I feel like
He didn't have enough success to warrant that, though. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I loved him as Superman, but so many people didn't like him as Superman, inexplicably so, and he didn't have the success. So it's hard to say that. Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin. And I would say, some people argue with me, but I would say Chris Evans is Captain America. On there too. Like, to me, he's Steve Rogers. So I think there's that. That's your list in comic book movies. Oh, and Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So there's your 5. There's your 5 town.
what was it? I can't think of his name now. Who passed away for playing? Played the Joker.
Heath
Heath
Ledger.
Ledger.
Heath Ledger.
Now he's not the only one who could play the Joker, but I really loved him as the Joker.
Yeah, I loved his show. Again, though, he only played him once.
Yeah.
And again, it was a very different kind of Joker, right? Like,
Yeah.
because it's funny, and he did win an Academy Award for playing it, and then somebody else won an Academy Award for playing Joker too. So, but it's really weird to say like just born to play that role. I think it's just limited to those 5: Hugh Jackman, Chris Evans, Vincent D'Onofrio, Ryan Reynolds, and Robert Downey Jr. But again, as great as all those guys were, it's absolutely conceivable that if somebody else had played the role, they might have even done it better. We'll never know.
Yeah.
We'll just never know. All right. What's next?
Top Gun Manny says, regarding Comic-Con location, love San Diego, but I go to Vegas way more just because it's cheaper. Yes, Vegas is cheaper than San Diego on a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, listen, depending on what you go to do in Vegas, it could be a very expensive trip, depending on what you want to do. But yeah, it's just overall, again, and some people think I'm bashing on San Diego. I love San Diego. We just made our plans for our next weekend getaway to San Diego. We love that town. Absolutely love it. But Comic-Con has outgrown it. So I do think it needs to go to Vegas. All right, we got time for 2 more. What's next?
All right. Dad Joke says, will you remind us what the Deadpool and Wolverine movie box office bet between you and Ray is and what the stakes are? Please make it an official bet.
I don't think we have one.
I don't remember.
We stopped at, I think, when we were talking about it, I was saying 170 something. Of course, all this has changed.
Yeah, everything's changed now.
And then I was kind of like teasing you for being like safe with your 150 million. But this was the last time me and you ever talked about it.
Yeah,
So now it's
we
different.
can come up with one.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you and I are going to have that radically different projections for it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Well, let's see. What do you guys
we'll
think?
let's figure it out before the movie comes out. My head's too cloudy right now to even think about it.
Okay, how about this? What if we set like instead of coming up with individual numbers, what if we set an over-under line and one of us takes over and one of us takes under? So let's say we said the number was $205 million opening weekend. Would you take the over on that? Do you think it's gonna make more than that, or would you take the under on that?
I already said I was with Chris with the 250 million, so I can't back out.
All right, I'll take the under. I'll take the under.
And then we'll figure it out.
I think it's gonna be somewhere between 180 and 200, but I'll maybe even close to. I'll take the under on 205.
But I want to include all the figures that are sold, all the popcorn buckets that are sold, and all of that.
No, it's only movie tickets. Only movie tickets count. So then we got to come up. Then we got to come up with what's at stake. Because I ain't eating ketchup on eggs again. That is not happening.
I will do it then if I lose.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure that out
I
later.
feel like you like ketchup on
I
eggs.
you caught me already.
I almost dry heave just when I think about it. All right, last question of the day. What's next?
Unofficial there.
Unofficial
Something.
Scarhera says, from Aegon's mummy, showing his need for maternal love despite his deep flaws to the high tide of Driftmark representing Corlys' overwhelming grief. This episode of House of the Dragon was great. Thoughts?
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I mean, and you know what? It was after last week's episode too, it was a great breath.
Yeah.
But it gets right back down to the characters, right back down to the drama, right back up to the true Game of Thrones that's being played here. But yeah, I think that moment, I saw an interview with the actor who plays Aegon, and he was talking about the fact that, like, even in last week's episode, when he's talking to Alicent, and like, he's just like, when he's mad that they're making plans without him and all this kind of stuff. And he says, what would you have me do, mother? And she's like, what is required of you? Nothing. And he said, because the actor was talking about it, he's talked about how, like, he's still desperately, more than anything else, he wants her approval.
Yeah.
and he wants her respect. And like, he loves his mom. And so, yeah, I thought that line, just as she's walking out the door and says, "Mommy," I thought that was great. I thought it was powerful. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here, making this little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. There was a number of stories today that we did not do because this whole Marvel League thing was big. So we've already got a bunch of stories lined up for tomorrow's show. Hopefully you guys will come back and join us again. So for the people in the room with me, Ray Ora,
I'll see you guys later.
Jonathan Voico,
Later, guys.
Paris Rose,
Toodles.
my name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.